Hey, hey, hey! Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Stacey Storino. Normally I'm from Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, but here and now I'm for the Stacey Storino channel, the number one place for entrepreneur moms to come to learn how to not just try to have a better balance of work and home life, but also how to make their brands and their businesses more successful by increasingly becoming more multimedia and more omni-channel in their approach. So these are some lovely roses that my husband gave me for my birthday today, because it's my birthday, as I'm on day 17 of my 365-day live stream orbit to this YouTube channel. So if you're new around here, make sure you click that big red subscribe button, click the bell notification, and select all. Select all from the bell notification when you click it to make sure that you're notified as I continue with my 365-day live stream orbit. Each of these three roses, quite frankly, represent part of how you can improve your online business and or your brand's online presence, because not everybody is selling courses online and not everyone is selling services that easily translate in whole or in part to online. So you still need to have a brand presence that is online. How can that be more effective? Well, there's really three elements to it. So these roses actually help me make my point. There's your actual business, and there is being multimedia when you are getting your business out there on the Internet of Things that include search engines like Google, that include search engines like YouTube, which we're on now, and that also include the social media of things. So there's your business, there is the multimedia aspect of it, and then there's the omni-channel aspect of it. Now, multimedia, you probably know what that is, right? You're not just putting out content, because whether you're selling content or not, you have to do content marketing to have a better brand presence online and or to do online business more effectively and more efficiently. So you have to be multimedia. If you're constantly putting out just picture posts, that gets to be a little boring and droll. If you're putting out lots of video snippets and like jiffies and special effects, like Boomerang was super hot at one point, and you're using apps for that, that's cool. But if you're just doing that or mostly that, that can start to feel a little stale to your audience too. And even if you're just mixing those two things together, static picture posts with like the more jiffy, lively elements, that's better that you're mixing those in. You're starting to get multimedia, but you do need videos. You do need video snippets. Live streams are important too. They're getting favored on every platform more than just really any other content right now. And some written words like blogs, micro blog posts on Facebook and Instagram and stuff like that. You're going multimedia. And now that Google SEO has Google Podcast SEO, if you've not started a podcast yet, you might want to think about how now through the end of 2019, or at least in the beginning of Q1 for 2020, you can release a podcast to fully go multimedia. You have more things to offer your audience wherever they find you on the internet, but you also, as you're growing your email list, you have additional content to share with them that isn't always buy my stuff. My stuff comes in green. My stuff's on sale. Because yeah, if they're following you on on your email list, as long as they don't unsubscribe, they are very keen to hear from you. And messaging like that is cool, but you need to break it up with all of your multimedia content that may be showcasing your stuff, but it's not totally in their face about it. You can have the videos, you can have the live stream demos or teachable moments, depending upon what kind of internet presence and or online business you want to run, it's going to show up differently. But you have to be multimedia. You also have to be omni-channel, like I mentioned. What does that mean? If you're not sure, it does mean that you're not just on one channel or one thing primarily. You don't have to be on all the things. How many things you need to do depends upon your niche, your pitch, your product, and your sitch. However, if you've really researched your niche or target audience thoroughly enough, you know where they're hanging out online. You know that. So multimedia and then omni-channel. Omni-channel really does mean, what social media channels do you need to be on? Is it Facebook and Instagram and Twitter? Is it fewer than those things? Are you folding in Snapchat and TikTok because of your demographic? It depends. But it's not just the different social media channels. It's more than that. It's encompassing the whole Internet of Things. Do you need a blog? I think to leverage SEO on Google and the other search engines, you do. Do you need a YouTube channel? Well, let's see. Google is the #1 search engine for all English-speaking people on planet Earth. You need to leverage Google SEO with a blog. Even if it's just once a week, every week, you need to do it. Then Google podcast SEO, I just said you might want to do a podcast. Hold on, because you're like, how do I implement all these things? I'll give you the answer to that in a second. You also do need to be on YouTube. I would argue, even if what you're doing right now, all that you can do as a busy entrepreneur mom is to just put out live streams like what I'm doing on this channel in November 2019. In addition to my 365-day live stream orbit that will continue through November and so on, we'll also have pre-produced content showing up there as well that are shorter, maybe 5-7 minutes in length. These live streams tend to average out 15 to 30 minutes in length. And if you're new here, not only subscribe, but go check out the 2 playlists up until now that we have, because every week has its own playlist for the live stream orbit. And we introduced and or touched on a whole bunch of concepts that we're going to continue to go back and unpack on this channel with the live stream orbit and the pre-produced stuff. But I said you need to be multimedia and omni-channel on every channel that you're on, a blog, a YouTube channel. YouTube is the 2nd largest search engine on planet Earth for English-speaking people, right? And then, a podcast to leverage just a couple weeks old, really, the super hot podcast SEO on Google, meaning that properly optimized podcasts episodes really will show up towards the top of Google search. So you may have noticed through the years that, blog posts and other kind of articles would be ranked for search, your search engine results, whatever got the most, ranking would be #1 on the page and so on. And then you might have noticed over the last 2-3 years, especially, that YouTube videos are ranked and shown on the top of a search page result, and then all the blog posts and articles underneath it. Now it's getting to be that properly optimized podcast episodes, optimized for search on Google, they're showing up, the YouTube videos are showing up, and then everything else is showing up. So it is really important to be have your business be multimedia and omni-channel. You do need to show up on the different channels. Google through your blog, Google podcast SEO through your podcast, and then YouTube for your videos. And you're like, but I'm a busy mom. How do I balance the work and the home? Even if I'm working from home, I don't have the commute, I don't have the extra logistics. It's hard enough for me to do this now. How am I going to find the time and have the bandwidth to do all of those things? Plus, part of being omni-channel is putting out content at least every day to start with on all the social media accounts or channels that are important to my niche. Because don't forget, this is where people's attention are today. And a lot of this is social media. If you have a very meager presence on social media and or you are not publishing consistently and persistently and consistently to your social media channels, you're already losing traction and ground there. How do I do all the things, Stacey? Well, first of all, go back and watch both sets of playlists, because we go back and unpack a whole bunch of things about calling in the cavalry, how to help you, how to properly delegate what you can, what kind of free stuff that you can do in terms of delegation and help, and then what kind of paid stuff and how do you roll out paid stuff to help you in terms of tools, in terms of solutions. But day 2 in the week 1 the week 1 playlist will help you, that video, day 2 in the 365-day live stream orbit, because I talk about the concept of the power hour. And one of my students just on yesterday's video, Jasmine Pena, admitted, thank goodness I showed more than one way for how to implement a power hour, because if it was just 60 minutes all in one block, she couldn't do it with her scheduling. And if it was in 2 30-minute hemispheres, it would still be too much for her, the way her brain processes things. 2 30-minute hemispheres, she could still get overwhelmed. For her, what helped was to have 4 15-minute quads, time-lapsed as possible within a 24-hour period or day. For her, that works. So day 2 of this live stream orbit really goes back and unpacks the concept of a power hour. So how it shows up here, if you have to learn more skills to be more multimedia, that's something that you could put into a power hour every single day, 7 days a week. I know, there's a lot to juggle. I do it too. I'm an entrepreneur mom too. And my husband works a bajillion hours. I don't even have as much help from him as maybe someone would have with their husband, wife, significant other, if they work 9 to 5. It's not easy for me. It's not easy for anybody. But I do the multimedia stuff for Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill and my own brands. And I do it without a huge team and a lot of money. It is possible, but you have to be multimedia on every one of the channels that are omni-channel and that are important to your people. And then you have to make sure you rank for search using keywords. And then on things like Instagram and Twitter, your keywords are your hashtags. It really is the same thing. A lot of this stuff is portable amongst the channels, right? As you go more multimedia with content and you plan out your content in maybe another power hour, you've learned the skills to do the videos, to do the live streams, to blog more effectively. If you're not getting your content out there to be found on Google search, on YouTube, via social media, especially with Twitter and Instagram, especially being their own search engines for the hashtags, it's going to be hard for you to be found, especially as a new brand or as a brand that might have been a while, but you don't have a lot of online traction. So the way I would bring this all together and tie it up is, imagine your brand and or your online business having an online digital presence in the shape of a wheel, okay? That the wheel and all the connection points on the wheel represents your existence digitally, right? And you have to have a persistent and consistent presence digitally, or you get drowned out by all the competition, and or it's really hard to rank high enough. And even if you have a loyal following of any size, if you're not showing up in their feeds at least once a day, it's very hard today to achieve good top of mind consciousness. And depending upon the platform, once a day isn't enough, but you're a busy entrepreneur mom. Let's get you to the point where you're putting points on the board at least daily for your social media. If you're doing better than that already, cool, keep going. To get you to have at least once a week a blog, at least once a week a podcast, at least once a week a YouTube video, and go live as often as your schedule will permit, because live requires very little in terms of tech. And it is super easy to learn. I'm 49 years old today. I learned it a couple of years ago like this, and I hate tech and new stuff. So trust me, if I can do it, anybody can. And my kid was much smaller then, and it was a bigger handful to handle, and I was still able to do it. But imagine your digital presence for your brand, your business, as a wagon wheel. Imagine all the different connection points that are important to your niche that is represented as spots along the wheel. From each one of those connection points is a spoke that goes from wherever they found you in your omni-channel approach. And they'll find you different channels on different days. You'll attract some people with one or two channels, but not all the rest. Some people, they're doing all the channels, but if you didn't publish your content on all the channels every day or once a week for the other things I mentioned, you're not going to catch them enough because they're everywhere looking at everybody. So your digital presence is the wheel. All of your channels in your omni-channel approach are connection points on the wheels with spokes. The spokes all go down to one common hub. That common hub is really your email list, not your website, your email list. And that's where a lot of my for pay students got hung up in the beginning, because they were like, wait a second, I was driving them to my website to learn more about me and to shop. But you really want to capture them on your email list. So the center hub point that everything drives to is to get them to sign up on your email list. Now, depending upon your business, hey, Sally Hoffman, thank you so much. Thank you, Sally. Depending upon your business, it might be a coupon. Like for my family's food-related business, Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill, we drive people from various connection points on the internet. Could be social media, could be our website, could be our YouTube channel. We drive them all to one common place, our email list. What do they get for opting in for us? A coupon. If you're a food-based business, if you're a products-based business, I argue food-based businesses like Joe's Dairy Bar and Grill have products. Our products are edible, but we create products, right? But your products could be makeup. Your products could be not tangible products. Your products could be digital products. You're selling courses. You could be selling services. They could be coaching services. They could be, CPA services. It could be anything. But if they're not going to want a coupon from you, or that's not going to really work for you, given your niche, your pitch, your product, and your sitch, then it's like usually a free offer. Here's the cheat sheet. Here's the checklist. Here's a free recipe. Whatever is going to speak to your people to get them via an ethical bribe or an opt-in gift to get on your list, you get on your list. Once they're on your email list, unless they unsubscribe, they're yours forever. So you can have an automated email sequence that greets them, introduces yourself. Here's the link to my website. Here's the link to my YouTube channel. Here's all the social media links. That should be one of the first emails that they get after the email that delivers their opt-in or their coupon code or whatever, right? So that next email, or maybe contained in the same email, that's your indoctrination email. That's where you list out all the cool places that they can find you. Social media, a blog, a YouTube channel. You will start growing all of these platforms at the same time that you're growing your email list, at the same time that you're publishing content on that digital wagon wheel with all the connection points that are, again, they may or may not be important to you, but they have to be important to your niche. Once you do that, rising tides lift all boats. Hey, Donna, what's going on? Good to see you at Transformational Healing by Donna. So I'm going to wrap this up now. Donna, this is a really good one. You want to go back to the beginning of this to learn what the digital wagon wheel is, your presence on the internet, all the connection points that are important to your people, the spokes that they slide down for the one central hub that is your email list. Don't want to miss that, because when you go multimedia, as I laid out in this video, and you go omni-channel and you plug it into that digital wheel, now it makes sense. You can persistently and consistently get content out. you can persistently and consistently grow your email list and grow all of your omni-channel presences over time simultaneously, roughly, with the rising tides lift all boats sequence. And then really quickly, because I said I'd do this, how can you take one piece of content and shatter it out? Well, actually, you're going to have to wait till tomorrow's video to learn that. Make sure you hit that big red subscribe button, click the bell notification, select all, and go back and see the previous week's playlists to get all the value as we continue. Tomorrow will be day 18 of the 365-day live stream orbit. I will see you all later. Bye.